What do you mean by context switch? Say suppose when a CPU switches to another process, the system must save the state of the old process and load the saved state for the new process. Now this process is known as the context switch. Now what is happening here? The CPU, it is switching from one process to another process. But what it has to do? It has to save the state of the old process and load the saved state for the new process. One by one we will discuss how actually this takes place. Now how actually this context of a process is represented? It is represented in the process control block. Now we know that alongside with each process there is one particular process control block associated with it, isn't it? Means operating system designs a process control block for each process, right? So how actually this context of process is saved? It is saved in the process control block. Now, actually this context switching is nothing but a overhead, and while this is taking place, the system is not doing any useful work. While switching, it means actually it has to save the states, then it has to shift it to another process. So this is quite a overhead, right? And nothing useful work is taking place during this particular switching process. And to enable this context switch, it is totally dependent on hardware support, because you see when actually the old process state is to be saved, when the new process state is to be saved, so it has to be done in a timely manner, right? So definitely it requires the hardware support, right? Now if you have still not got what actually is this context switch, let us see one diagram for this. See what I have told you. Say suppose two processes are there, process P0 and process P1. Now say suppose what is happening is that process P0 was executing, right? Now just then say, so what will happen? The state of this process P0, it is saved into the PCB0. Now PCB0 means what? It is nothing but it is a process control block for the process P0, right? So this PCB0 is the process control block for the process P0. Now you observe here till the period that it reloads the state from PCB1. As I have written on the earlier slide, nothing useful is being taken place in the system. System is idle during this period. So the means earlier state of PCB1. Now PCB1 means what? It is the process control block of the process P1. So this saved state of process control block is brought into the system, and then you can see here P1 process is being executed. And then when some sort of work is being done by the P1, and then if there is a need that again, say suppose we have to switch back to process P0, okay? So what happens is that in the system, it executes for a while, then the new state of the process control block is saved again. This PCB1 is what? Process control block of process P1. So it is again saved, right? Until the time it reloads the state from PCB0, means process control block of process P0. Again you observe what is happening in the system. The state is idle, and then again after reloading the state from PCB0, it is again switched into the executing mode for the process P0. It is nothing but when the operating system, it tells the CPU to change from process P0 to process P1, but while saving and reloading the states of the process in the process control block is nothing but the context switch. Again I will revise this, okay, in short. So what do you mean by context switch? When CPU switches from one process to another process, and during this time what is happening? It saves the state of the old process Means in our example, state of process P0 was saved, then it reloads the saved state of the new process. We had reloaded the saved state of process P1, and this complete step is called as the context switch. And how actually this state is saved? Using the PCB. PCB means what? It is process control block. And in earlier lecture, we have discussed that for every process, there is a process control block, isn't it? It means what it is? Actually, it is a complete record for the particular process, right? Then this context switch time is overhead. Okay.